Hello, everyone. My name is Gina DeBrew, and I'm one of your classmates in the U.S. Foreign Policy course. And I just want to briefly discuss my findings concerning my research proposal. Well, my theme was essentially global terrorism with an emphasis on Somalia. So, as we all know, Somalia is a very volatile country that has been pretty much lawless since 1991. Is often forgotten, overlooked, but there is a lot of potential for offshore drilling. That's one interest for the U.S. Also, to kind of gain a foothold in the waterways which border Somalia, such as the Gulf of Aden and the Indian Ocean, which of course is a critical passageway for commercial shipping, including trade between the U.S. and various East African and Middle Eastern countries. So if you have terrorism, which of course you have Al Qaeda links in Somalia, most notably most notably Al Shabaab and other terrorist organizations, as well as piracy, which are often linked to terrorism, then it can impede the ability for us to do business in that region. Another important factor is for us to have Somalia on our side, because then we can continue to expand our influence in the region of East Africa. So we're not only looking at a business transaction and economic gain from trade in the region, we're looking at extending our influence. And how do we extend our influence? Well, democracy. Democracy is a part of American national interest. We want to spread our values, our core ideas abroad. And Somalia is definitely an area that could definitely use some rebuilding, if you will, in social, economic, governmental development. Another one, of course, is to protect our allies. So, of course, terrorism is an issue, but we want to protect our allies. So, not only do we want to protect Somalia, we want to protect Kenya, because Kenya has been susceptible to terrorist attacks by Somali terrorists through Al Shabaab. So, of course, we want to be able to protect our allies, of course. So our economics, our allies, protect our sphere of influence, advance our democracy, and of course, to be able to continue to grow and compete with nations like the UK and China for leverage in the area. Now, how do we do this? Okay, I gave a proposal about bilateral and multilateral efforts. So, a bilateral effort would be for the U.S. and Somalia to come together to essentially work towards building the relationship. And once you build relationship, you build trust. Once you build trust, perhaps America could influence Somalia in maybe having a pro-American government. And if you have a pro-American government, maybe you're more willing to favor America when it comes to policy. Why not? Okay, so building relationships means, okay, helping to rebuild the country, of course. We're talking about making investments into the country, making investments into their telecommunication systems, making investments into their oil drilling projects, and in turn, we get lucrative contracts, government contracts. We also might benefit from a favorable crude oil import rate. So we won't have to necessarily depend strictly on the Middle East for our oil. So we can kind of diversify getting oil from different places, which will lower the cost for us, which will make, our economy better. Another one would be, okay, if we're building infrastructure and we're investing in Somalia and we're helping with the oil industry and we have a foothold in that industry, what's another thing? It also brings jobs to Somalia. It also helps to rebuild their economy step by step. Another key element that I suggested was a multilateral effort, working in collaboration with the United Nations, the African Union, and of course Somali forces to help to combat terrorism, to help bring stability to the region as a whole, and to be able to see Somalia thrive and to see our national interests protected. Now, bottom line, what was my topic pretty much? Bottom line was, okay, terrorism is a threat to American national interests, specifically terrorism and instability in Somalia. That was my key objective. That was my theme, and then I expanded on what I told you earlier. So I pretty much gave you like the topic at the end. Anyway, I'm Gina DeBrew. Nice to meet you, and I look forward to your comments.